on Facebook, I'm going to be using this video to repurpose for my blog, also for my podcast recording, which I'm going to talk about in a second. This is going to be episode number 114 on the Smarter Online Marketing Podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. And I just really believe in repurposing the content that you work so hard to produce online. Okay, whether you're building your own brand, you're doing some, personal branding for building your own self online. I think it's very important to repurpose what you do, right? Why have to redo everything that you work so hard to create? Just use what you've got and tweak it a little bit and use it for something else. So this podcast and video today that's available on YouTube is in response to a question that I received on Google+. Okay, and it was asking me for some tips that I could share about starting your own podcast. Now, when I started my own podcast in 2014, I was really just kind of starting out. I had done YouTube videos, some online marketing in that way, but I had some content that I already worked hard to build. So I wanted to take that content and at least start with those as my first episodes. When I started my podcast, I had 10 episodes to start with. I repurposed the videos that I had recorded from presentations I had given that kind of built my authority in the online marketing space. So I was able to have something to start with at least. Now, if you don't have anything to start with in the beginning, you can kind of see what you may have posted on LinkedIn, what kind of articles that you may have read that you might be able to talk about and put your own little spin on and give your expert advice on. Okay, so that's a big piece of advice that I have. Make sure that you repurpose the content that you've already created for your podcast. Like this video is a Facebook Live video. I'm using it on YouTube where you can see it there. I'm also going to be using it on my blog. So I'm using the same piece for more than just one thing. Don't work too hard. Create awesome stuff. Hey John, nice to see you. It's great to just be able to repurpose that and just have something great to talk about over and over again. Now, the next piece of advice that I have about your podcast, okay, so it was repurposing. Now I'm going to talk about building your SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is so important because nobody's going to be hearing you if you're kind of talking in a room by yourself, right? I'm here in my studio/office and I'm talking to you, but you're seeing me maybe because you've searched for this video, or maybe you've searched for this podcast, episode 114. You may have typed in a keyword. So make sure that the words that you're saying within your podcast and also that you're talking about on your blog, if you're deciding to enhance it a little bit, you're always using those keywords because you want those to help align you with your brand and what you stand for. So everything I do is online marketing, social media, SEO, visual marketing, especially smartphone stuff. So yeah, so make sure that you're thinking of SEO when you're producing any piece of content, and especially your podcast. So one more piece of advice that I have for you today is when you have your podcast, make sure that your keyword is also somewhere in your description or your title or your slug, which it's known as, on your podcast, on iTunes or Stitcher, whatever it is. Make sure that you have something about what it is that you do, what value it is that you share with your audience. Hey Mitchell, what's up? So make sure that you repurpose your content. Make sure that you are including your keywords, and make sure that you're really using the stuff that you work so hard to produce over and over again. Okay, so this is going to be a podcast, episode 114 on the Smarter Online Marketing Podcast with me, Vickie Siculiano. Don't think I said that in the beginning. So you can check that out. I think I might have one more piece of advice for you, which I'm going to do right after I finish this video. And I'll take any questions that you have. Make sure that you transcribe what you say in your video and your podcast for two reasons. When you have a video on YouTube, you can upload that transcript as a TXT file, and you can get all of those keywords included along with your video, right? So it's not just the words in the description, but your CC, right, your closed caption, you can upload a TXT file, your transcript. So after this video, I'm going to be creating the MP3 from the video, and I'm going to upload it to Rev. If I want to, I could have uploaded the video to YouTube and sent them a link for this video where they could get the transcript from it by themselves. Thank you for the thumbs up. Yeah, so you want to make sure that you get those juicy words into Google's kind of, searching database. YouTube's the same thing because YouTube is owned by Google, right? So you want that transcript to include not in just your videos, but also your blog posts, and anywhere else that you can in your description of your podcast on Libsyn or wherever you host it, SoundCloud maybe. That's a big piece of advice for me. So I'm just going to throw that in for you, okay? It's a little technical, but I think you guys can handle it. So with that said, do you guys have any questions about starting your own podcast or any kind of questions about how to get this thing started? It was, kind of a decision that I made when I knew that I was doing a lot of YouTube videos and more online marketing, and podcasting was getting very, very popular. So I wanted to make sure that I got in the space also, but I didn't want to have another bus to drive, another engine that I would have to kind of crank to get going with building my online presence, my online marketing in the space. So it was important for me to make sure that I knew how to repurpose and I knew how to grab those words for SEO and make big advantage, take a big advantage of that. Okay, so right after this video, I'm going to rev.com. I'm going to have this transcribed and uploaded to my YouTube video, which this is going up for, and also for my blog. So no questions. I'm going to head on out of here, and I got some stuff to do with this video. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, John. Bye, Mitchell.